think it's awesome that, it's a great resource. Just see the questions that people have, and everybody is very helpful, and getting a solution for them, and throwing out different ideas, which is at the end of the day, it's what it's all about.
Yeah, the idea originally came from just being in a small like text message thread with my leader and some of his agents, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why can't we just make this bigger for everybody? I mean, I get a lot of value from just this little group. If I ask a question, they're there, answering that for me, like at the blink of an eye, quickly, and I'm thinking like this can be for everybody too, at first I was like, well, let's just have it for, healthcare solutions team agents. And then I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense either. We need to be able to help everybody, competition is not something that we should be afraid of. Competition is healthy, like, let's see what other people are doing out there,
Certainly. That's how you grow and evolve.
Let them hear exactly what we're doing out here. That way, if we're the right fit for them, then come this way. If we're not, that's okay. We're still going to be here to support you, So that's the whole idea, man. And we're excited. It's growing. And we're excited to have people like you come on board and tell us more about products, some stuff that we don't know about. I want to have more products under my belt too, and figure and offer those to my clients,
That's awesome. And like I said, kudos to you guys for, really supporting it and driving it and, putting this all together for everybody, because it's super cool.
Yeah. Where you at, man? Where's home for you?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay. Born and raised in Indiana?
No, actually, so I grew up outside of Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
And then, went to college in Southern Indiana and found a job right out of college. It brought me to Indianapolis, and kind of been here ever since. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I got to ask you, Akron, Ohio. So are you a LeBron James fan or not?
I am, and I have to put this in there. So my claim to fame is my senior year of high school. We drew St. Vincent St. Mary's in the sectional tournament.
Uh-huh.
And they beat us. I think the final score was by 63 points. So
holy smokes! Was he on the team at that time?
He was on the team. So I don't even think he played the entire fourth quarter of the game. So the last 10 minutes he was out.
I would imagine, man. I got friends from that from one end of the spectrum to the other one. Like they love LeBron James, or like they hate him and they love Michael Jordan. So just curious where you fell in that spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. let's give these guys another minute or so.
Okay.
To jump on board, and we're gonna record this obviously, and we're gonna post it on the hub later on. I just got to get the videos edited from the other interviews, but we'll post them on there.
Awesome.
And we'll give people a chance to kind of understand what SASid's all about. I get. Well, I guess I'll ask you. I'll ask you in a minute here or two.
All right.
Yeah.
So where's home for you, Carlos?
So I'm in Illinois, Chicagoland area.
Awesome.
If somebody asks me, where I'm from, I don't say Chicago. I mean, if I'm talking to the person in Illinois, I tell them I'm from Joliet. It's about an hour. Actually. Oh, you know where Joliet is? It's about an hour south of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. Grew up there, and then my wife and I got married in 2009, and I moved up here with her. So about an hour away from Joliet. Now I live in Hanover Park.
Okay.
It's like a northwest suburb of Chicago.
Nice.
Yeah. You've been to Illinois, I imagine?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, we have some close family friends that, my brother has a good friend that used to be there's a university in Joliet, right?
There is St. Francis University.
Yes. So my brother's good friend used to be the head football coach at St. Francis.
Ah, okay.
And now he's the offensive coordinator at Temple.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's cool. That's pretty good. Going from St. Francis to Temple, that's fantastic.
Yeah. He had a couple other stops along the way, but.
Yeah. Did you play football or anything?
I did. So I played football in college, and Division III football. So it wasn't like I was playing in the Big Ten or anything.
All right. You still played, man. It takes some guts to play football, man. It's not for the small and for the weak, I guess.
Yeah, I had a good time. So it was it definitely complemented my whole college experience. So I wouldn't change it for anything.
Did they give you a scholarship Do they give
No,
scholarships?
so in Division III, they don't give any athletic scholarships.
Okay.
But
So
it was a good time.
I played football in high school my freshman year, and my wide receiver coach, he was like, "Stick with me, Polito. You just got to keep eating those potatoes. You got to keep eating the
Yep.
potatoes." I was a full like 90 pounds soaking wet my freshman year. Like I don't even know how I did it, man. I don't know how I didn't die. But hold on one second.
No problem.
Can you add me? Okay, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, I think I added Dan. Dan, are you there? Sorry, I didn't even notice you guys were here.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Dan?
How are you? Good to see
I'm
you,
doing
buddy.
great. Good to see you as well.
Good. You're in Indiana?
I am coming to you live from, well, we're still working from home. So our office, we closed it. Gosh, I think we're going on like week 11 now.
Oh, wow.
I've been going in kind of every now and again, checking on things and, just making sure that, it's still there. Sometimes I use a disc.
I'm with you, man. My wife is the one that has to stay home, and I say I got to go to work, and just trying to get out of it. My whole calendar's free and stuff like that. But anyway,
Well,
man,
you know what I found too is with my wife. Like when I say I'm going in the office, she's like excited that I'm leaving. So I don't know what that says about me as a person, but
that's wild. It's like, yay, good. Now it's alone time finally. Do you have you must have? Do you have grown kids? Do you have kids or no?
I do. So I've got 3 little ones. My oldest is getting ready to turn. Well, he'll actually be 10 tomorrow, and then I've got a 7-year-old daughter and then a 4-year-old daughter.
So. Okay. So they're the 4-year-old's probably already kind of independent, like
for sure.
Does his or her own thing. I have a 5-year-old and she does whatever she wants. But anyways, Mike, let's get started, man. Again, we appreciate the time that you're giving us. I know time is money. But ideally, what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring core health, SASid, to the forefront of people's minds, right? Sometimes I'm even guilty of knowing that I have core health and SASid products, but I don't really talk about them or I don't use them, right? So we want you to come on board, tell us all about it, tell us why we should be selling, the SASid products. But before we do that, can you guys hear me okay? I'm having bad internet connection. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, you're a little sticky, but we can hear you just fine.
Hold on
I can hear you.
You're fine? Hold on one second. Where the heck did it go? Let me fix this 1 second. Okay, that should be better. But anyways, before we do get into the products and stuff like that, what I like to do is I like to have everybody get to know you first, right? If we're going to build a relationship with you or have a relationship with SASid, we like to know who we're building those relationships with. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you came from, how you got into the insurance field, and your background and all that stuff.
No, certainly. And again, I like I was saying earlier, I just really appreciate the opportunity and the time, to speak to the is it the Hubbard community or?
Yeah, the hub. You can the Hubbers. Yeah, you can the Hubbers.
The Hubbers. Okay, so I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to all the Hubbers. Again, born and raised in Northeast Ohio, but I've been in Indianapolis now, going on almost 14 years. So the Hoosier State is home for the Watts family at this point in time.
Good.
I like to say that I probably took a pretty unconventional route into the insurance field. I hate to admit this, but 5-year-old Mike didn't really dream about being in insurance. But what I've quickly found and what I've grown into it is that I love this industry. I love the relationships. I love the challenges. It's something that I'm extremely proud to hang my hat on at the end of the day. So going back to my unconventional route, so I graduated college and my original game plan was I was going to go to law school. Well, so I started applying, took my LSATs, and then I quickly started figuring out how expensive law school was going to be. And part of that was because I had an undergraduate degree in economics. So I decided to change course, and I went into commercial banking real quick out of college. Got my first job, came up to Indianapolis. It was great. And then I had my college roommate gave me a phone call, And he knew that I had a mutual friend who was in the insurance business, and he had just posted a job. So my college roommate was interested in that job. So he asked me to give him a call and give him a reference for it. So I said, yeah, no problem. So called the friend. He immediately said, I'm so glad you called because everybody I've been talking to said I should hire you for this position. Well, I immediately felt bad because here I am calling on behalf of a friend and I already have a job for that position. And, at the end of the day, I didn't really think that I was going to be in the insurance world, but I really, I've always been good at building relationships and, seeing the challenges that are out there and trying to figure out solutions for people. So long story short, he ended up hiring us both. We were with HCC for, I was there almost 12 years. And then 2 years ago, last April is when I joined Smart and Simple Insurance Development, or SASid as we like to call it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's fantastic. I think everybody's like you. I don't think everybody at 5 years old thinks they're going to be an insurance agent, right? But I personally wanted to be an Olympic sprinter because I was pretty fast when I was a kid. But I thought about Jerry Jones one day, and I'm like, man, how the heck is that dude able to buy a $500 million yacht? Like, what the heck? Like, where did all this money come from? And guess where it came from? From insurance. That's where if you want to make some real money, you got to get in the insurance business, man. We can do it too. We can buy a $500 million yacht too. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Do me a favor, Mike. Help me make the connection between SASid and Core Health. Distinction, sure. Please help me understand and help the community understand.
Absolutely. So SASid, we are a pretty unique company. We've been in business for almost 22 years now. Two brothers started the company, Shannon Kennedy and his brother Sean. Their father was in the insurance business, and then they kind of, when they graduated college, decided, we're going to kind of put our own stamp on this and we're going to have some fun with it. And so they started creating products and figuring out, this was, early 90s, so trying to figure out how they could sell products and plans online and making that seamless conversion. And so they did a pretty good job. And their biggest hurdle when they first started off was, they're driving all these people to these websites. Well, once they go to their website, they enter the carrier's portal, then they lose track of that data. And we all know, obviously in this field that data is extremely important because then you can use that to retarget, remarket, see what's working, what's not working, make little tweaks to your funnel. Absolutely. But they weren't getting the data back from the carriers once they entered the carrier's portal. So they decided, okay, well, I think we can figure this out. So they created their own enrollment platform, their own marketplace. And through that, the business has just grown. So, going back to how I said that we're unique is that we kind of look and feel like an insurance company, but we're really not. So what our sweet spot, and the value and our mission to the market is to create products that are both simple to understand, so quoting, enrollment, to purchase, but also smart to have because we want to create value in the market. So we've grown, from the model that Shannon and Sean built for themselves. They realized that there's a lot of brokers and agents that are out there as well that would also like to have these tools and this data that we can collect and provide them with. So we entered into the brokerage community, obviously designing and creating marketplaces where, you can purchase multiple products from multiple carriers in kind of a single user session. And then with that, kind of the next evolution of the company, I think it was about 10 years ago, they acquired a TPA, so insurancetpa.com. And the TPA, it's a licensed third-party administrator in all 50 states. So, kind of our value that we create for the carriers is, we come to them with product ideas, we help them design the plans, and then we also tell them, we'll do all the administration for it, customer service, enrollments, commissions, policy fulfillment, you name it. And in a lot of cases, we also pay the claims on those products that we create as well.
So you could have fooled me. That sounds like an insurance. That sounds like an insurance agency for sure. Like all that stuff. Like if you guys been in the market, online marketing since the 90s, that's fantastic because this whole online marketing and targeting and retargeting, that's fairly new to most of us, and if you guys been doing it for such a long time, I think that's fantastic. And that's why you guys have your own marketplace and you're able to, capture as much business as you do. Tell Mike, if you've got some sort of like PowerPoint presentation or something you want to go through, we can do that. If you do,
Okay.
if not, then I got some questions for you. You can.
No, I put together just a real quick PowerPoint. Do you want me to share my screen? And
yeah, I'd love for you to do that. Yeah, for sure. Hit the share screen button and we can go through them.
All right. Can you guys see our office in Janesville, Wisconsin?
Not yet.
All right. Let's see.
bottom, there's a share screen button. Then you got to pick the screen you want to share.
All right. Let's see here if I do this. What about now?
Not yet.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
1 second. That doesn't make sense, but let's see what's going on.
No problem.
Let's see. Make co-host. Does that help at all? There we go.
All right.
There we go. Now we see it. Perfect.
Perfect. Here, I'll try to enlarge this a little bit.
Okay. You the man. You got the logo on there and everything.
I've been to this office. This is an amazing experience. It's they even have swings. They even actually have swings in the office.
No kidding. That's fantastic. That's quiet. That's wild.
Swings. We've got foosball tables. We love to obviously right now with everything in quarantine, but as the restrictions get lifted, we're always open, and we love to have visitors to kind of showcase the office because it's a really cool building, and it's just a great place to work. So again, the purpose of the presentation today is really just to talk about one of the products that we administer and that we created in the market. We've got many other products that are out there as well that are available, and I can kind of walk you through that step. But just for today's presentation, I'm strictly going to focus on our Core Health fixed indemnity plan. So Core Health, what really makes it stand out in the market, or what makes it really useful for agents, is that it's a guarantee issue fixed indemnity product that also includes an AME benefit in the plan options. So there's no medical underwriting, there's no simplified issue. It's simply, you go on the application, you enter in your contact information, enter in your billing information, and so, again, what separates it from short-term medical or even ACA coverage, these indemnity products are, they're a good solution for people to keep in mind because they are first dollar. So there's no deductibles or co-pays that an individual has to meet before they start paying out. And they're obviously going off the schedule to pay those plans. Again, down at the bottom, I'm sure most agents probably they're already aware of this but who's a target customer for a guarantee issue fixed indemnity plan? Obviously, outside of open enrollment, if a client, the really only options at that point would be either short-term medical. Well, there's kind of three options now. There's health share ministry plans, short-term medical, and then there's fixed indemnity products. With this product, it is pretty popular because, again, there are certain portions of the population that aren't eligible for short-term medical. They have those 5 knockout questions, and if they've had any of those instances, they can't take that product or they can't look at it. But there's also another alternative to ACA coverage. When things become too expensive, or for whatever it may be from a budget standpoint. We'll get into it a little bit later, but we have options in this portfolio of products that start as low as $75 a month. So
that's fantastic for an indemnity plan. Before you go, just for the sake of some new agents that may be watching this, what does it mean to be guaranteed issued? What does that mean?
Certainly. So again, guarantee issued simply means that there is no underwriting whatsoever. We don't ask any medical history questions on the application. We don't ask, there's no height or weight restrictions on the plan. Again, it's simply when you're filling out the application, you enter in all your contact information, your billing information, and then the policy is put in force.
So how would the plan know if I have pre-existing conditions and what they would cover and what they won't cover?
So no, that's a good point. Let's see here. So with this policy, because it is a guarantee issue, and obviously there's some concerns from a loss ratio perspective. There is a 12-month waiting period for pre-existing conditions for the hospitalizations and anesthesiology benefits. And the look back period for what we consider to be a pre-existing condition for this policy is 12 months. So anything that was diagnosed, treated, or a prudent person would have sought treatment for in the 12 months prior to the policy's effective date would be excluded for the first 12 months once the coverage goes in force.
Okay. I always look for that word when people ask me what is considered a pre-existing condition, and what any prudent person would consider a pre-existing condition. That's
sure.
That's the word that I was always searching for. Okay, so.
And to your point, the definition of pre-ex can vary by product line. You know, certain short-term medical plans, their pre-ex look-back period can go, well, I think most short-term medical plans now look at typically 12 to 24 months prior to the policy's effective date. But I've also seen other options or certificates in the market where they'll go as far back as 5 years prior to the policy's effective date, and they'll consider that to be a pre-ex condition. But, you know, again, for the purpose of this product, it simply just looks back 12 months prior to the policy's effective date, and anything that was treated, diagnosed, or prudent person would seek medical treatment for, that would be considered a pre-ex.
So then after having the plan for 12 months, after 12 months, those pre-existings will be covered?
They will, absolutely. So it's just a 12-month waiting period on those pre-existing conditions, and then once they exhaust the waiting period, it'll cover those conditions as well.
When we say covered, this means that, you know, hospitalizations for the pre-existing conditions, lab work, and office visits, those yep. would be
office visits. Yep. And I'll show you. I've got a chart here later down on the slideshow. We can kind of walk through that where you'll see where the 12-month pre-ex applies and where it doesn't apply, because it wouldn't apply to, you know, the plan does have wellness office visits in there. Obviously, those wouldn't be considered a pre-ex. They wouldn't be subject to any sort of waiting period. But.
Understood. And then one more thing, just for the benefit of the audience again, why do we always highlight permanent insurance when we're trying to compare it to short term?
Sure. No, that's a very good point, and probably something I appreciate you bringing that up, because with Core Health, it is an annually renewable policy, so they can keep this for the lifetime all the way up to age 65. You know, with short-term medical certificates in the market, you know, you can keep them for 6 months, 12 months. You know, certain plans can go all the way up to 36 months. But once you exhaust that maximum coverage period, then you have to go look for other insurance, or you have to reapply for, you know, a new certificate with that carrier. You know, with this product, primary applicants are eligible anywhere from the age of 18 to 64. So, you know, you can do the math, but if you bought the policy at age 18, you can keep it all the way up to your 65th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Are there renewal rate increases on the policy?
The rates are universal, and there's not increases at every year. So once you lock in, and as long as the carrier, they could come at some point and say, okay, we're going to adjust the rates here. But once you lock in the rate, that's going to be the rate for the lifetime of your policy.
So it's not age banded either, like some of the other indemnity plans where once you hit 50, the rate changes at 50.
Nope. So there's no age bands in this policy whatsoever. It doesn't vary by zip code or state availability. It's a universal rate. It's very simple to understand. We've got 4 different rating categories. So you have your individual policy, you have your primary plus a spouse, you have primary plus dependents, and then you have a full family rate. So there's 4 categories for the rating.
And then I'll ask a question like I always ask when it says, applicant plus family.
Mm-hmm.
You can be one of my homies that has 8 kids, and that'd be the same rate for everybody, right?
Same rate for everybody. Doesn't matter if you have, a husband and spouse and 1 kid, or a husband and spouse and 8 kids.
Okay, perfect.
You have a significant footprint too, state footprint.
Yep. So
I always like to acknowledge, some of the differences that we don't see with other carrier options.
It's a very good point. So it's available right now in 32 states. In terms of popularity, you have certain states where the population density makes it much more popular, but you also have some states in here where short-term medical is no longer an option for clients. So, California, for example.
I was going to say California, if that's true, then that's big, because California has no short-term options. It's either ACA the faith-based health sharing programs, or this would be an option?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Cool.
Another thing that I do want to point out on this slide, and we get this question quite often, and it is a unique benefit, or not a unique benefit, but it is a strong benefit to the plan. So pregnancies and maternity. Pregnancy is covered under the policy as long as conception occurred after the policy's effective date. So if they weren't pregnant before they came on the policy, then we do cover routine deliveries and the pregnancy under the policy provisions.
Okay, fantastic.
And I can share the exclusion section, but they're pretty standard. Obviously, with fixed indemnity products, you typically don't see any coverage for substance abuse, mental health, self-inflicted injuries, and things of that nature. But it's got a strong policy.
When it comes to maternity, so let's be clear. Woman gets pregnant while she had this plan, and she goes in to give birth, and the benefits will pay out for whatever happens in the birth. Is that right?
Yes.
Or are there some limitations and exclusions? Is there some language in there that says here we won't cover if it's like a high risk birth or something like that? You know what I mean? High risk pregnancy or something like that? The
only exclusion that they have in the policy is if there's any sort of complication during the process, or there's a complication during the pregnancy. But, again, a normal routine pregnancy, you can be used for the hospital admissions benefit, the hospital confinement benefit. And it can also, the prenatal bills can also be applied to the wellness benefits as well.
Okay. Okay.
Again, we've kind of already touched upon this, but I always want to make people aware because of the pre-existing condition clause. So it does apply to the hospital, ICU, surgery, and anesthesia. So that's a 12-month wait. And again, it's a 12-month look-back period for anything that would be considered pre-ex. The pre-ex and sickness does have a waiting period for all other benefits, hospital and surgery, and that's only a 30-day waiting period for those benefits.
Okay.
And again, obviously there's not going to be any waiting period for an accident or an injury of that plan. I do like to touch point, or to always expand upon, that this policy does give clients access to the multi-plan limited benefit network. So it's think of it as a silent network, because if you go out of network, we don't reduce your benefits, or we don't put any caps or limitations if you're out of network. But, with a limited benefit plan, it is pretty advantageous for the client to try to stay in network, because you're automatically going to get the network negotiated rates. So we can typically reduce your bills by roughly between 35 and 40% off of normal retail rates.
I would say that's pretty standard too. When you go in network, it's usually around 34, 35, 40% off whatever they charge us, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. And I know that the multi-plan has various different networks. When we're going in there to search for doctors and hospitals, it has to be the multi-plan limited benefit network, right? Not
Correct.
Other multi-plan networks, right?
Yeah, because they have right now, I think there's, last time I checked, I want to say there's between 8 and 10 different networks that they oversee in their umbrella.
That's right.
They have the big names like PHCS and things of that nature where they've merged together. But so yes, when you do go to the multi-plan website, we actually have a link through all of our client portals, which will take them directly right into the limited benefit search tool. So they can look for facilities and doctors and providers that, that participate in the correct network.
I see. Okay.
And then with the policy, we also, in terms of trying to limit out-of-pocket costs as much as possible, we do have a discount medical plan, or a DMP, that they can also purchase. It's an additional $12.95 per month to have that. But again, it's going to help them save some out-of-pocket exposure, in certain instances where they might utilize those services.
Tell us more. Discount medical plan. So they pay $12.95 in order to use a network and get discounts? Or?
Well, I wouldn't really say it's a network, but it's services that where we can apply a discount to. So we've already, or the vendor that we use for this does have network negotiated rates for different areas. and it can be applied because it'll help reduce their out-of-pocket exposure, essentially.
And these are just like certain services that, you know, maybe day-to-day services that people are looking for?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. 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 And again, if they use providers outside of the network, the benefit's still going to pay out their
It is. Yep. So it'll still pay according to schedule. Just the only kind of issue that may pose for the client is we're not able to give them any sort of relief off of the retail rate because there's no network negotiated rate at that point.
I understand. If that happens, does having this plan come with some sort of like concierge like service where they can help negotiate the bills, things like that, or no?
We do, and so I'll show that in a couple other slides. But with the group association platform, one of the benefits and one of the tiers that they can choose from, it would come with CARES 360.
Okay.
It will help them negotiate their out-of-pocket costs or lower their bills.
Okay, that's huge. So yeah, if we can keep moving, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Real quick, plan options. So we've got 8 different plans in this portfolio of products, and I've got a slide here I'll go into, but really the best way to think of it is we've got 2 buckets, and we've got 4 plan options in each bucket. And when I show you the next screen, you'll be able to see the differences why we've created it this way. So one bucket is really tiered towards higher utilization, but it has less benefit per utilization. And then the other tier provides more value per utilization, but it limits the number of office visits and so forth. So let me pull that up real quick.
Sure.
And make sure that you guys can see that. Are you guys able to see this screen or this chart that I've got up here?
Yep, we can see it.
So again, if you take the first 4 plans and kind of separate them from the last 4 plans, you'll really see the differences between the 2. So, obviously the first 4, you have 10 office visits with each of those options, and it ranges anywhere from $65 to $80. The higher tier plans, they range, they limit it to 1 or 2 per certificate period of the policy, but it covers it at a higher rate from $50 to $80.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that is part of, there's a 30-day waiting period for the sickness portion that's not pre-X. Again, that goes to the loss ratio where, the carrier would be a little reluctant to issue a guarantee issue policy where somebody could, literally buy a policy on their phone while they're driving to the hospital to have an office visit.
Yeah, that makes 100% sense. And I hope it makes sense to the agents watching this. The reason there is a 30-day waiting period for sickness is, like you said, you can't just be sick yesterday, buy the plan, and then go get the service the next day, and then maybe cancel the insurance policy, the third day. The insurance companies would go broke, right? So for you're feeling sick already, guess what? You're going to have to wait 30 days before you actually make an appointment to see a doctor because of your sickness. But for accidents or injuries or emergency situations, then we're good to go. Day 1.
Absolutely. Day 1, you would be on that.
Makes sense.
Again, we do like to point out too that there are wellness visits tied to the policy. The first 4 buckets will cover up to 2. Last one, or the other 4, they get 1 visit. You have your outpatient, X-ray, radiologist, laboratory benefits. It'll show you what they pay per visit or per lab, and as well as the number that you can receive in a per certificate period basis.
Let me ask you, wellness services, that obviously when you go get some wellness exam, there's a bunch of different codes that come out after you're done. The doctor writes up a bunch of different codes. The office visit benefit is just going to go towards the office visit code, right?
Yep.
And let's say the doctor needs to do some lab work or something like that. Would the lab benefit come into play at that point? Or?
Yes. So then the lab benefit would come into play. So, again, with these types of products, you may go in for 1 visit, but it may trigger 2 or 3 of these benefits that are in the plan.
Okay.
Hospital confinement, again, and this is really kind of where the differentiator comes in. With the first 4 buckets, you can have up to 31 days be covered in the hospital. But you see that the total benefits are considerably less than the other 4. We range anywhere from $250 per day all the way up to, on the high end, all the way up to $3,000 per day. Mm-hmm. And kind of the same thing with the ICU, CCU benefit as well. You get more days in your bucket to utilize down at the lower tier plans, but it is kind of scaled back depending on what options they choose from.
again, people watching this video, you have to understand that this is a guaranteed issued product. Like they're not gonna ask us medical questions. Oftentimes we may see a different carrier offer a $3,000 benefit, have more days of coverage, but you're gonna have to go through underwriting with that carrier. You may not be able to get this plan. Right now we have something to show our clients that can't go anywhere else, that need something. This is a $3,000 benefit for 10 days. That's fantastic, I think.
Yep, absolutely. That's a great point. Again, it does have an emergency room benefit as well. And one of the other things, the hospital fixed indemnity insurance that's tied to the policy, again, this is money that they can use to pay any sort of bills that they may have, fixed costs associated that's not out of the hospital bill. So, again, if you're in the hospital, if you take the Premier plan and you're in there for 2 days, this is going to trigger a $3,000 benefit, that you can use to pay your mortgage and your car, whatever bills might also be tied to the plan as well. And then, as I touched upon earlier, very early on, again, we've also put in, an AD&D benefit as well as an AME benefit to the plan as well. So, again, trying to cover any out-of-pocket exposure they may have. I mean, we have clients that will purchase this policy as a supplement to a high deductible health plan as well, just to kind of provide them with additional coverage and close those gaps that they may have.
So I know for us, oftentimes we have to get 2 separate policies. If we're doing indemnity and we're doing an accident medical expense, we have to sell them 2 policies. And here we can do it all in one. Yep. And how do we choose? What's the deductible? Is it 100 or 500? What's the deductibles on those?
So it's either 100 or 500. In the first 4, I believe it's a $500 deductible, and first 4 it's a $100 deductible, and then the last 4 plan options have a $500 deductible.
I see. So for those of you that are selling accident policies, especially with NatGen, I'll say it. They have a $250 deductible before the policy kicks in, and here we can get a $5,000 benefit right in the middle at a $100 deductible, which is fantastic.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, going back to the rating, universal rates it's not affected by their age. It's not affected by their geographic location. The monthly rate is the monthly rate, no matter where they live or reside or what age they are. So, you'll see again at the low end, low cost option is $76.32. And then the benefits can range all the way up to roughly $256.
Can we do child only with these policies or no?
Child only, they have the primary applicant has to be at least 18 years old.
Okay. So there has to be an adult.
Yep.
That makes
but
sense.
Dependents can go anywhere from a day old all the way up to 26 years old.
Oh, really? There's no the child has to be 60 days old before we can put them on the policies. Okay.
So. And
so let's say we have a family who just had a baby, and they had this policy. We can just add the baby to the policy and the premium changes, or do we have to start a whole new policy?
No, so you can add a baby to the policy and then the premium will adjust from there.
How do you add the baby to the policy? Is it just an email or a new application?
No, so it's just an email to our client services team. So if you just email service@insurancetpa.com, let them know that there's a child that was born under the policy, they'd like to add them. I believe there is a form from the carrier that they do like to have them complete. And again, it's just basic contact information because there's no medical underwriting. And then they'll add them to the premium and adjust the next month's payment.
Okay. That's fantastic. Okay, cool. What else we got?
All right. And, lastly, again, just want to point out, because it is an association chassis, how they filed the product. So in order to have access to the product, the client or the applicant also has to join an association. So the AUIC Association is what we've used for this product for many, many years. And the AUIC, I feel, has done a really good job from an association standpoint of also providing benefits that people who are shopping for health insurance are going to want to utilize as well. So with this policy, there's two different levels they can choose from. probably in today's climate that I like to point out, the best option is both plans do include telehealth by MD Live, and that's an unlimited utilization at a $0 copay that they can utilize. So it's a service that they provide, and if they want to go to the Health Advantage level, which is a little bit more expensive because it costs an additional $24.95 a month, as opposed to $15.95 for the telehealth level, but that extra $9 that they're paying automatically gives them access to CARES 360. Again, going back to the advocacy service where they can help negotiate or reduce their out-of-pocket expenses. Which, again, with a fixed indemnity plan, I would strongly recommend them, considering that service as well.
So just to be clear, this has to go along with the indemnity plan that we purchased, right? We have to be part of the association.
Yep.
So the premiums we saw in the brochure, we have to add on the $15.95 or the $24.95. Is that right?
Correct. So the premiums that are shown in the brochure did not include the membership fees as well.
But when you get into the application, it'll show you the membership fees.
Yep, it'll show you so when you go through the online enrollment system, you'll go in and select your plan. It'll also notify the user that, to be eligible for this policy, you do have to join the AUIC association. And as they're checking out, it'll show them their monthly premium for the fixed indemnity plan, and it'll show them also the fees that are associated with being a member of the AUIC.
Have you ever used the telemedicine, the MD Live?
It's funny. So I actually started using it, during this whole quarantine issue. And, obviously there's quite a bit of panic in the market. And I know that MD Live, their business has to have just increased substantially. And so, I've used it previous to that, but I was a little worried that, obviously, do they have the staffing appropriately? Am I going to be on the phone for the next 20 hours of my life? And I was shocked that I think I only had to wait because I timed it was about 11 minutes. And then I had an RN on the phone, and, I was able to get my daughter some ear drops for an ear infection. And, 2 hours later, I was picking them up at my local pharmacy.
That's fast, 11 minutes. So that's from the conversation with the first person you talked to talking to the doctor?
Yep.
11 minutes? Wow.
11 minutes.
That's just fast. I think the first time I had to wait like 45 minutes, and then the next time it was like 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought the 20 minutes was fast, but 11 minutes is fast. But anyways, I've said it once, and I'll say it again. I've used the telemedicine service twice and probably 2 or 3 times in my life, and it's been for my daughter. First time, coming home late from sister-in-law's house, she says my throat hurts. I say, okay, well, the doctors aren't open right now. Let's just try out this telemedicine service. We call telemedicine. Doctor says, take a picture of the throat. We take a picture. She sees it. She's like, it's not good enough. I need you to take a better picture. So we take a better picture, and she's like, okay, I don't see any kind of infection. So if she starts coughing the next day, it's a virus. And sure enough, the next day she starts coughing, it ran its course. It's just a little virus, right? And the next time she had some a little rash on her shoulder, and we're like, do we take it to the dermatologist? It's going to be expensive at the dermatologist,
Yeah.
I'm like, let's try this telemedicine service. Let's see if they do dermatology. And doctor called me. Doctor was in Singapore for some reason. Whatever, I don't care. He's a doctor, retired doctor or something like that. Still licensed, obviously, in the state of Illinois. And take a picture. We email it to him. He's like, yeah, we know exactly what it is. It is Contagium molluscum, something like that. Where's your pharmacy? Go get this. And an hour later, we're picking up our pharmacy for a dermatological condition, right? So I thought it was pretty cool. And we didn't have to pay a thing for it other than what you have to pay for the medication.
Yeah, it's super convenient. And, again, with everything that's going on right now, I mean, it's just a very popular thing to utilize. I know here in Indiana, obviously doctors' offices are starting to open back up. But for a time period, when everything first set out, it was, doctors were basically doing telehealth from their office, but they were still charging you your normal copays and applying things to the deductible. Whereas if you have a service for this and you pay it on a subscription basis, you don't have to worry about any out-of-pocket exposure.
Yeah, I think the telemedicine is fantastic. I do everything over a screen share just like this. The doctors are doing the same thing nowadays. I think it's amazing. One thing I do want you to touch on, if you can, is show us the marketplace. That's
Sure.
something that I think is fantastic. We each get our own in marketplace when we contract with SASid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. So let me. All right. So I'm just going to go to kind of it's a site that we maintain and we manage called Cobra Insurance. And really, this is more an informative website for clients to really understand what exactly is Cobra and, why, look at possible other alternatives. So we've created this site, but the technology that I'm going to show everybody is the same marketplace technology that we provide to all of our agents and brokers. So, again, it's going to start off by asking you for a zip code. And then you're going to enter in some basic contact information. And the nice thing about this is all the information that's collected on the screen, once they go through and hit get quote, it's automatically pushed to your agent's back office, whether they purchase a product or not. So you'll be able to see, okay, Mike Watts was on my quoting tool at 11 o'clock on a Thursday night, but he didn't buy anything. However, I've already got his email address. I know where he's located, so I can then begin a drip marketing campaign on him with my outreach and see if he had any questions or what types of products he's looking for. So again, it's going to take you into the marketplace. From here, you can start to create your shopping cart. One thing I want to point out: all of these products right here, these are all done by different carriers. You've got your core health insurance, which is on U.S. Fire's paper, or Crum & Forrester. Indy Live, as we touched upon, that's a service. Core Dental is a product that's written through Emeritus. Comprehensive Accident Medical Plan, that's another U.S. Fire high-level accident policy. We have a Smart Accident Plus, which kind of acts as a gap type product, and that's on Fortegra or Life of the South paper.
And I noticed that accident product has a $0 deductible.
It does. So it's got a $0 deductible as well on that plan.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But again, just kind of go through some things. So if you have a client that wants to go through your link and they're looking for the core health product, they can come here. If you click on view all available plans, that'll then again allow you to switch between those 8 options and the different levels that are in the policies. But just for that, let's go ahead and select the plan to begin our shopping cart. And again, you'll see the notice down here that says, you've selected a plan which requires you to become a member of the AUIC association. So it'll put that in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's taking you see here where it says selected plans, you have your AUIC membership, and then you also have your core health insurance product that shows you your total down there. And just for fun, let's select a dental plan to throw in there as well. All right, so from here, I want to check out. Just click begin enrollment. And continue enrollment. So, what you see here in the marketplace and how we've designed it, from a consumer standpoint, they're not having to bounce around to different enrollment tools from different carriers. They literally come in here into this funnel. To them, they don't even really know that these are underwritten by different carriers at this point because it's a single user experience. So you come in here, you start your app or start your applications. Just ask you some basic information to put in here. If it does require a social security number, you can always use 333-22-3333. And then if there's an application question for the plan, it'll have you come in here. And then I'll have you go into the terms and conditions for each carrier. Agree to them. Now let's go to the core health application so you guys can see that. Again, since it's guarantee issue, all the information that I already keyed in for the dental product, it already transferred it over to my address here. Now, it will ask me to do the phone number again, just to make sure that it is the right person, but it's save and continue. And then because the AD&D benefit, there is a beneficiary, it asks you to select a beneficiary.
Mm-hmm.
Save and continue. AUIC, same thing. Terms and conditions. Everything's done electronically. And so once you've gone through these, obviously you saw it as I was going through it and I completed each step, it gave you a check mark so you know where you are, what forms you still need to complete. Then you just go to your e-signature page. And this is where it'll again just have you sign the form, confirm that you want to do a monthly payment. You know that you're going to be paying this amount for the dental insurance. Agree. And then right here is where you'll enter your banking information. Again, we can do either EFTs directly from a checking account or a savings account, or you can also enter a credit or debit card. And we accept all major forms of credit card on there as well. And I won't actually submit the policy because this is a live environment, and I'll probably get a call from IT that Tim Test has been submitting applications again.
So what's cool about it is that for those of you out there who are marketing, via a landing page or just using different platforms to market, and you want a one-stop shop for people to enroll into short-term plans, dental plans, accident plans, things like that, you can get that with SASid. You can get all these products all in one page. And what's cool too is that when somebody like Test doesn't complete an application, they also get an email. They get an email from the system that says, listen, you didn't complete it. Come check us out again, or at least come in and get your free your drug card or something like that,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely. So, again, once we have our email notification, we can also pass that information and start saying, we notice you visit the website. If you have any questions, here's your agent's contact information, because it's all coded with the writing agent's back office in there as well. The other neat thing too is our system will track as they're going through this process where exactly it is that they stopped off. So as the agent, when you walk in, again, they could say, all right, Mike Watts stopped off at, step 1, and you could hit resend link, and I'll take an email will generate, or you can send the email to it. The link will generate, and you can send it to me, and it'll take me right back to step 1. Or if Dan Mack made it all the way to the confirmation page, but didn't complete it, you can also pull that and that link, send it to the client, and it'll take them right back to the confirmation page. So there's steps along the process where you can, that catches that information. So it just makes you more aware.
Hey, how does the consumer, when it comes to like the actual billing itself, what do they see on their side? Like, is it just one bill, or is it multiple bills?
So it's one bill, and on the credit card statement or on their bank statement, it'll come from insurancetpa.com. And
That's
then
awesome.
behind the scenes, we will then pay, the Emeritus premium for their financials. We'll pass that information to them. For the core health information, we'll pass that off to US Fire.
Okay. So yeah. So other carriers will have different deductions for all the different products that come in the package. So this is all in one.
Yep.
If a client needs to cancel, and they just want to cancel the one policy, can they cancel the one policy, or does it cancel the whole thing?
So if they purchase, in this example, again, if they had core health along with core dental, if they called in 3 months later and said, I don't really need the dental insurance anymore, they can cancel the dental insurance, and we'll just adjust their monthly payment and keep the core health in place.
And they're not reaching out to the actual carrier, they're reaching out to you.
Yep, because we're controlling all the billing and administration for it. The other thing too, I do want to point out, so when we were back on that tile screen where I was selecting what options I wanted to add to my shopping cart, that's completely customizable. So, if there's like 2 or 3 or 4 products that you want to offer. We can go in the back office. We'll just select those products that you want to offer, and we'll make sure that those are the only products that are displayed.
When can you get even deeper, and out of the 4 tiles, the 4 products, can you say, I only want to offer this level?
So unfortunately, right now we can't do that, but we are working on coding the system to where you could then go in and say, all right, I only want to offer this deductible with this out-of-pocket max for this short-term medical plan. For core health, I only want to be able to offer, 2 of the 8 policies that are available to it. But that's something that we'll work on now, and hopefully it should be released soon.
Do you guys pay a lot of commissions?
We do, and we pay our commissions on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So everything's done through EFT, direct deposit. They go out every Wednesday. Typically, from the point of sale until the first payment is released, there's normally a 2-week window, mainly just because to account for any cancellations during the free look period or any chargebacks that might happen with the billing. But, again, we do release commissions on a weekly basis.
That's fantastic. Listen, I think this is great. I have one more question for you, but Dan, do you got any more questions for Mike?
Let's see. No, actually, I mean, you keep going ahead and asking all these questions, Carlos, which is fantastic. So I just keep checking them off my list. That's why I keep looking down. I'm like, I got a list.
Cool, man.
Keep grabbing them all. That's great.
I'm getting pretty good at this stuff, man. Honestly, it takes a lot of practice. But Mike, we totally appreciate the time, man. Again, the one of the things I was excited about getting you on this training is the fact that a lot of agents out there are looking for the guaranteed issued products, right?
Sure.
Oftentimes they're coming across like U.S. Health Advisors. They got a product out there, but it's underwritten dramatically, right? People who are working with Manhattan Life and United Healthcare and their indemnity products, those are underwritten as well. And sometimes we have no options for our clients, but this is an option. We can get them into a guaranteed issued fixed benefit plan. Something's better. What are the options? You have something or nothing, and something's always better than nothing.
Absolutely.
I did come up with a question though. This is available not just for individuals, but you can do this for groups as well, right?
We can. So with our technology, we can also do a group list bill feature. So if you have a small group or an employer group that wants to offer this to their employees, we can list bill this policy into a single charge that would go back to the employer or to whoever is going to make the payment each month.
Yeah, it's great. I think that the suite of products itself is so fine that it's a perfect mashup. You can go ahead and pick all the plans. I know for a while there we were promoting, we had the 4 plans, the accidents and the CAM and the core health, of course. And it really fit. It became just a perfect bundle of benefits for an individual or for a company.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
We do have a question that came up too. Is how do clients use the plan? They get a card and provider files a claim on the policy, or the client does?
So when they get their ID card, again, it's going to have the multi-plan logo on the back of the card. So when they go in for their services, if it's an in-network provider, obviously they're going to process everything through the multi-plan agreement. If it's out of network, typically they'll have to submit any itemized bills or receipts that they've received, and then we'll make payment directly back to the client.
Makes sense. And then the other part of her question is, you have to be licensed in the state to sell in that state. Is that right?
You do, yes. So in order to offer to a client in a particular state, you would have to have at least a non-resident health insurance license in that state.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Let me ask you, Mike. So growing up, I had 2 best friends that loved to sing, and they were pretty good singers. And I was always jealous of them. I was like, man, I wish I could sing. So if I could snap my fingers and get an ability, I'd love to be able to sing wherever, whenever I want. What about you, man? Is there any kind of ability that if you could snap your fingers, you wish you could do?
Oh man, gosh, it's a good question. That's one that makes you think a little bit. If I had the ability to, and again, not to kind of piggyback on your thing, but I have zero musical ability. in me, and I've always thought it'd be really cool to learn how to play the guitar. And I've always had that on my list of, this is the year that I'm going to, take a lesson, or I'm going to figure this out. And hey,
you're never too old, man. You're never too old to learn the guitar. I had a college professor who literally picked up the guitar when he was probably like 50 years old, and he plays it fantastically.
Yeah.
I asked that question to one of my employees when I used to work at a dealership, like, hey man, if you could just get an ability, what would it be? And he's like, I'd want the ability to win the lottery. Because then I can just buy a guy to sing to my girls, or a guy to play the guitar to my girls, or something like that, So
I like that answer. I may have to change mine to that now.
Makes sense. Yeah, it totally makes sense to me after he said it. Like, yeah, I want to be able to guess the winning lottery numbers. That's what I want to do. But man, no. Again, Mike, we appreciate your time, man. Again, this is going to be posted on the hub for everybody to see on the Facebook group and my YouTube channel. And if anybody wants to get contracted to sell Core Health, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Dan Mack. If you don't want either one of us to get credit, that's perfectly okay. Reach out to Mike. His phone number is there on the screen, and his email is there as well. Is that right?
That's right. Again, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the opportunity. Hope everybody has a great holiday weekend. And, if you have any questions, or if you need any more additional information, please feel free to reach out.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good seeing you.